Hello and a very good evening. Welcome to ELITETV. You're watching Open Debate in English. I'm Chongtham Amrita, and today we bring you the topic, the first phase of IDP resettlement, which is scheduled to start from tomorrow. As the government of Manipur, which is especially the PR regime, begins the phased return of the internally displaced persons from relief camps starting tomorrow. Families from Kangchuk being the first of them expected to be moving out first. But there are still a lot of questions mounting over the planning of it, the safety of it, even the financial assistance and the housing quality, and the overall transparency of the whole process of resettlement. The question is this: is this really rehabilitation, or is this just a relocation under pressure? Opposition voices have called this plan hasty, and there is no clarity. A lot of people have also exposed the glaring gaps in the housing quality, and also especially regarding the transparency and the financial assistance. The displaced families themselves are now expressing doubt. They are also openly opposing the financial aid that are being provided for them, saying that are very insufficient, and they are not wrong. Considering the 2 years that they have been languishing in these relief camps, the nature of living conditions that they've been exposed to, neglected by the previous government and also by the whole population at large, they do require a full financial package to really restart their own lives from scratch. So today, in this discussion and debate program, we will be questioning these issues. We will be addressing whether the financial assistance are enough and what would be enough for them, and also regarding the security conditions, since all of these people will be moving back to the fringe areas once again. Is it really the right time to make a resettlement first, proceed before doing any kind of disarmament or even a ceasefire process? So let's start with the debate right away. We will before that, I would like to welcome and introduce our panelists for tonight. Our first speaker is Dr. NAOREM BOBO, media spokesperson for DMCC. Oja, welcome to Open Debate. Our second speaker for tonight is SHANTA NAHAKPAM, Secretary General for UCM. Oja, welcome to Open Debate. And our third speaker for tonight is joining us from Taiwan, Dr. NG SHANTIKUMAR, Professor of English from HONGKUO DELIN University. Oja, welcome to Open Debate.
Thank you very much for having me, Amrita.
Thank you all for joining. Once again, I will start with Oja Bobo first of all. Oja, we all know the first phase of this resettlement will kick off tomorrow. Is the timing right? Do you think the timing is right? Although we all wish for a proper resettlement for the IDPs. And do you think that before a proper security treatment for these people to return back to their homes, before guarantee of the fact that there will be full security and there will no longer be any more of that particular incident that happened in 2003, without guaranteeing all of that, is it fair for them to return at this point? What are your thoughts regarding the first phase of the settlement? Oja, take it away.
Amrita, see, people have been hoping for the last more than 2 years that returning to their own homeland, native place. But see, the topic itself says that resettlement of this IDP. What actually the IDP's victim wanted is to return to their own native place. Like from More, they wanted to return to their More homeland. Like from Chongtham to the Chongtham and LOS in a part of Manipur. But recently there is a development from this the governor, and this after the talks of the three CSOs of Manipur top CSOs, that IDP will be returned in phase-wise manner.
Yes.
But what will be the implementation, or what will be in a practical way what the people wanted? That is the more big question for the IDPs. On the other hand, the IDP victim has been offered a sum of amount like we have already seen in the newspaper, in the media, also like 75,000 or some amount, very small amount to rebuild their home, so on. But in my view, that if they really wanted to help the IDP victims by the government, then they should be given a proper and in a practical manner way that should be implemented in a free and fair without any corruption, not in the namesake of this giving a statement in the press, or not in the namesake of in the written paper. So I hope returning of the IDPs is a good step to be taken.
Yes.
But what will be their future? Even though if they return to their own home, after that, what will be their stabilization? What will be their source of income? What will be their children's futures? These are all should be also in a very compact manner to give them a peaceful life. Not only giving a proper home without any other income source, that will be also very difficult for them. So in these views, then another term, if we see that the coming election of 2027, it's in a rumor, it's in a atmosphere of this political scenario in Manipur. So by then, before the election, people, all the political parties are working hard to do something which is loved by the people of Manipur. This may be also one of the cause which may lead to returning of this IDP victims and so-called buffer zone abrogation. But if we see in this phase-wise manner that not only the Meiteis but the Kuki also should return to their homes. The Kukis who are also the victims.
Right.
So, what will be their answer? The so-called Zo Kuki community people, what will be their answer and what will be their response to the returning of these IDPs? That will be very big mark, since none of the Kuki CSOs or none of the so-called Kuki MLAs, they are already dictated under the so-called SU, militant groups, and they are not ready for anything to negotiate until unless they get this the so-called separate administration or so-called union territories. So Amrita, in this my view, that the returning of the IDP, it is a good step, but it will be a very in the other sense, it will be a very difficult manner. If you see the Kuki Zo community statement and see staying in these fabricated homes which are built for IDPs, that is not called the returning of these IDP victims to their homelands. So I think it is should be discussed in a deep manner, and it should be implemented in a practical way, not in just giving a statement every month or every another alternative weeks by the so-called these leaders or so-called concerned department. Let me conclude by this in the first round.
Yes, indeed, Oja, you raised some key crucial points that I wanted to tackle on as well regarding the silence of the Kuki Zo CSOs on whether they will be returned back, and also regarding the future of the IDPs after they are sent back. And we will tackle on this particular two issues with our speakers. But before that, there is one other question that Oja also raised, and there is that everyone has on their minds, which is regarding the free movement, especially areas where these people have come from. They cannot go back, especially those 3 districts that we all know of. That, and also Oja Shanta, coming to you, some of these places that the people will be sent back, these areas are still very much tense because they being fringe villages, and there are still a lot of some insecurity, especially regarding whether there will be any more bombing, there will be any more firing, etc. So how can the government justify sending people back into these places without guaranteeing their physical safety and mobility as well? And also, do you think that resettlement should follow rather than precede, rather than preceding things like disarmament and ceasefire should be done first, and then resettlement should come after, so that there is a really peaceful resettlement as the government wants to show it? What are your thoughts on that?
I feel quite funny when you talk of resettlement, because you know, there is an area where the government needs to resettle first, and that is inside the administration itself. Can you imagine people of different communities? Different communities are at present divided inside the government itself.
Right.
Since May 3rd, like by the end of May or by the end of June, 90% of the community belonging to so-called subtribe of Kuki or the indigenous people have been transferred by the government to different areas, thinking it fringe or not secure. Even those students who were studying at Chochanpur Medical College or Jenims or RIMS have been transferred. They have taken transfer. Now, the question of rehabilitation and the security, or the confidence building of the people that peace prevails, should come internally from the government.
Right.
There was only one person who was here until his retirement, and he was Mr. Dongel. Until his retirement, he was the only person, high-profile person, who was here. And I might be wrong. There might be some few more who might be elite administrative, elite administrative posts. What about those people who were working with the education department, who were working in RIMS, who were working in Jenims, who were working with the agriculture department, who were working with the Manipur police, who was posted with 3rd IRB, who were posted with 7 IRB, 6 IRB, 1st IRB, 3rd MR, 2nd MR, 1st MR. So many people belonging to different communities have been divided inside the administration. When the administration is not able to bring those, divisive decisions back to normal, how do you expect the IDPs to go back to their, hometown or home villages, their native villages? You are not able to show that you have recovered the confidence inside the administration. You need to show people posted in Technopol, people who are posted in Chochanpur. You have to get back people who were from Chochanpur, who were posted in Imphal, who were, students who were studying in Chochanpur should go back. The first thing is that those are the assets of the government. The people are subject of the government. But your administrative setup, people who earn salary, who work as a government employee, they are the asset of the government. If you are not able to move your asset at the right place for the confidence of the people and adaptive nature where people will work within each other for the welfare of both communities. If you are not able to do, you have already divided the tribals, Hawkip, Wi-Fi and other Mate, Simte, so whatsoever who were in the government posts have been sent back to Chochanpur or some other area in Kangpopi. Now you are having all those Meitei who were posted in Kangpopi, Chochanpur and many other places are being transferred to Imphal or Kaching or Bishnupur. So you are still divided inside the government. What is the agenda that you want to show the people before you play with the lives of innocent people who want to go back to their homeland? You should be bringing back those people who are within your administrative provision, who can come back within the government, who can be provided with security. A lot of people was working with the Accountant General Office in Lamphel. So where are they? Where have they been transferred? Can the government bring all those people back? So that is the big question.
Right.
Now, in my opinion, before, yes, this is a good step that yes, government has decided to move those people into their own villages by giving them security, by giving them, giving them whatsoever help they can. But the thing is that who is going to guard them?
Right.
Will those people who do not belong to our community? See, when you have a guard of your community or your people, if a Manipuri, by Manipuri I'm calculating the whole of the 34 tribes and Meitei in itself. If we have the police, or we have the commandos, or we have IRB, MR, who belongs to our state, we feel more comfortable. You see, those people who are going to go back to whatsoever villages are being guarded by the central forces, who are regularly, bypassed by a number of bullets. We have seen it many times. So until and unless the government, creates a scenario or a very warm environment where different communities can sit and talk together within the administration, I don't think it will be possible for the government to make such an arrangement, and it will be still difficult to guard them even if they send them back to their own villages. I would like to close my first round with these comments.
Yes, indeed. Also, you raised a very significant question as well. I think that needs to be explored, and that really needs to be answered, because this could be, well, many do think that this could be a first step towards completion of the reorganization of the so-called I dare not say it, but the balkanization of Manipur that everyone do so fear so much. So I'll take that point to Oja Shantikumar as well. So Oja, this is the point that is very crucial, that needs to be addressed, because there is so much silence from the Kuki community who fled from Imphal, and then there is no word about Kuki resettlement within Imphal Valley from these districts, and also as Oja Shanta rightly highlighted, that within the administration itself, all of those officers who are working in this particular department, there is some sort of an ethnic line divide, even within the administration itself. So this raises this very troubling question, that is this a plan? Is this a plan, maybe intentional or not? Is this trying to draw permanent ethnic boundaries within the administration and within the territory of Manipur as well, and a step towards formalizing the fragmentation of Manipur? This is a very big question. So Oja Shantikumar, what are your thoughts on that?
First of all, a very good evening to our panelists, Oja Shanta, Oja BOBO, and Anchor Amrita, and all the viewers. Amrita, that's a good question. It seems like they are totally avoided, or their names are not really mentioned when we talk about. But yeah, it's very natural for us to be suspicious and to be doubtful and to be apprehensive when India takes up some new steps, whether it is about resettlement, whether it is about pre-movement opening, or whether it is about extension or through abrogation. So we always feel apprehension. That's very natural for us, because India has been, ruling, India, I mean, especially in the northeast areas, like divide and rule policy. They've been using that for a long, long time. So it is very natural for us to be suspicious, to be, doubtful, and to be apprehended whenever India takes a new steps. Regarding these IDPs, coming to the valley, I think that's a very good question, because I think even though we don't talk much about the Kukizo communities coming to the valley or returning to their valley homes, I think it is quite understandable in the sense we cannot just talk about Meitei people, returning to their homelands, like in Chusampur or Kangpokpi or More, without talking about those Kukizo communities returning to the valley. So I think it should be a very common sense. I think we actually, Meiteis don't really hate or we are not against those civilians, cookies or communities, civilians.
Right.
We are only against those cookies or narco-terrorists who terrorize innocent people, who terrorize civilians, and who kill civilians. We are only against them. So we don't have, actually, I don't think any CSOs in the valley or indigenous people of Manipur will object to their return to their valley homes, as long as they are not, protesting, or they are not running for union territory or separate administration. As long as they came to Manipur, they came to Manipur before 1951 or 1961, depending on NRC, which age, which year will be accepted, depending on that. So I think they will be most welcome, as long as they don't run for or look for or protest for separate administration and union territory. So I think the Kukizo community shouldn't think they are excluded in this resettlement or whether resettlement or relocation or rehabilitation plan. So they are equally included, and also we cannot expect only we might go to our original places and stop and coming back to their original places. So that's impossible. So I think this has to be understandable, and we have to accept they are coming, and they also have to accept for long-term unity and the integrity of Manipur. Amrita.
Thank you so much for your points, Oza Shantikumar. You have placed it very rightly, I guess, that it should be a two-way resettlement for both the communities, and that should be done. If it has to be done, and that is one fair way, that it should be done fairly, and this is one of the ways. Now, coming back to Oja Bobo, once again, you mentioned earlier regarding the financial assistance of the IDPs, which is really a very sympathetic, very shocking that the administration thought that rupees 75,000 aid would be enough. And also in today's newspaper, it was reported that displaced residents from Kangchuk Karang, they have rejected this 75,000 aid as entirely inadequate. This is true. In this economy at this point, who is going to build a house from scratch with rupees 75,000? This is not even enough to rebuild even the basics of anything. This will just get over within a week. 75,000 is nothing at this economy. Why is such a meager amount being offered as compensation for people who have lost their entire life, who have lost their entire livelihoods and life savings even? So if rehabilitation have to be meaningful, and the government is really intent on making it meaningful, shouldn't financial support reflect the scale of the damage that they have gone through? What would you like to add to that, Oja?
Yes, Amrita, see, if you remember about the Kashmiri Pandit, on the crisis, during that time, the government of India has given compensated a lot of amounts. But today it is already 2025. In Manipur itself is more than a 2 year plus. So what they have given, the amount which are for this IDP victims, it's a very, very less amount. And we should also, they should also have a compromise or comprehensive program for IDP victims, like the Kashmiri Pandit, those who they have given a quotas as usual in every part of educational institutions, as well as for job quotas. So like whereas in Manipur, IDP victims should also get the same benefit provided by the center itself. It should be very important for them, because you have already mentioned that, say, for the whole life which once in a lifetime a family or a person build a home, but it was bulldozed, and it was only damaged, and it was bulldozed in such a manner that even a footprint of that part has been not given in a map. So it will be very good for them if the government of India and as well as the state government give a very comprehensive or a very financial package for them, especially for the IDPs. Then they can sustain or begin a life a bit better. What they are expecting today, it's not that much from the government itself. And in practically see, most of the IDPs who have stayed in this relief camp, they went out from the relief camp to work whatever they get, to earn, to sustain their family, to sustain their these children's education. So many IDP victims, they are stand in the main road, or they stand in the highways to sell their products, like the making of candles, like this some agarbattis, so on, etc. So it has been going for the last more than 2 years. So by selling this small item, they will not be able to sustain their family life. And we have already seen in the newspaper itself, we have heard that most of the IDP victims who have lost their life in this camp due to not able to treat their medical expenses. Some of the IDP have lost their life also. So it is very sad to see all this. So by saying this, that we need, especially for IDP victims, very comprehensive and very compact for IDP victims, this financial assistance by the center and the state itself. Otherwise, it will be very hard to sustain. You see, in Manipur itself, is the inflammation rate is very high, is the highest in India, and even in the normal people, not the IDP victims who are in Manipur are having a very hard life. And if you see the IDPs, then it will be, compare with them, it will be very difficult to see in such a manner, in such a place where they stay. And they are also human beings, so they have the heart, they have the feelings to build their families and to sustain their children, to give a good education for their children. They have also dream to become a good this family and brought up in a peaceful manner, but unfortunately it is not happening today. So it is high time that government of India and the state government should look after the IDP victims and give a very good financial package to run their life and give a new beginning of this life to sustain their families and their dears and near ones. Amrita, if it's not about the Meitei itself, it also for the victims of those so-called Kukijo communities who are also innocent civilians who are victims now. These so-called Sioux militants, illegal immigrants, those so-called the narco-terrorists, in their tip of guns, they have been dictated and ordered them to do this so-called violence against the Meiteis, to make the hatred against this internally the communities. So it is high time that the government of India should abrogate the Sioux, and Sioux it is the main cause of the factor that illegal immigrants who are in the name of Sioux, they are killing innocent peoples. So the main factor we should focus on is we should abrogate the Sioux, and there should not be so-called Kukijo militants or Kukijo communities who are using the sophisticated weapons and trying to disturb the peace and harmony of the state of Manipur. And it is high time that all the political parties, leaders so-called, and as well as the center should understand it. The MSA should understand it. The propose to come out for a peaceful solution in Manipur. They should not just hang up on this extended of this Sioux. So it will be very difficult once the Sioux is extended, and there will be no hope for so-called this IDP victims returning to their homes, or the so-called free movement in the national highways, and this all the terms and conditions, this will be very difficult. If once the SU is extended, then it will be no use of this calling it resettlement of IDP victims. Today itself also, see, in the Chanung areas, the gunfire was there. Those farmers are running away from the farms, the Meitei communities. So how will we resettle, give a resettlement or this returning to their home, even if you cannot protect the farmers who are doing their jobs for the GDP of Manipur, to protect the rice grain of Manipur? Then how will you give this the victims of IDP to return to their homes, and how safe they are to return there to this own place? It is a very difficult question, Amrita. It is not just giving a statement, or it is not just publicizing in the name of political parties. So the MSA and the central government should understand that advocating SU will be the main factor to bring a peaceful solution in Manipur. Thank you, Amrita.
Yes, indeed, Oja. I think it's good that you mentioned regarding the firing that happened today, and that also happened after the government promised flying squads and also 1,000 plus police personnel and central security personnel would be guarding those who will be farming in the fields. So this has happened despite that promise. So I will take that question to Oja Shanta. Oja Shanta, we know that when the PR regime was installed on the 8th of March, the PR regime tried to open the highways, which failed. And again, now we fast forward to today, despite promising that the farmers will be safe while they are plowing the fields, they are still again attacked today, despite promising flying squads and a lot of personnel. Do you think that this IDP resettlement will be a success? Because we keep saying that the plans that the PR regime have been making so far regarding the solutions of Manipur, they seem to have an out of touch with reality, with the ground reality especially. And then each plan of them seems to be failing. Do you think that this particular resettlement will be successful by December? What are your thoughts, Oja? Oja, you're on mute. Could you unmute yourself?
It's a vice versa. You see, like when you talk of resettlement, you know, the PR regime or the BJP or the Congress or any party, anybody related with the Indian Constitution who is an Indian citizen needs to know that you need to zip those so-called cookie leaders who want to ignite this violence and continue it for more reason, which they call separate administration. Whenever you try to do something, whenever the government is trying to do anything, be it movement of people, be it resettlement, be it new governance, be it whatsoever related to the development or the progress of collective Manipur, all the MLAs belonging to Kuki, all those CSO leaders belonging to them will speak and spark their community so that they object in the name of separate administration. Okay. Whether they get it or not get it, it is a dream. You know, it's very nice to be dreaming, to make people dream and become a leader, ignite one's community against the other, and, you know, lead the people into a war zone where you will be feeling the joy and the fire of your community, but you will be, you know, like getting stuck, and your people will never know that. So that is what is happening. So whatever the government wants to do, they need to zip the lips of few leaders first. If they say, yes, we are sending IDPs, yes, we are talking, the CSOs are now talking, maybe we'll have this and that, somebody will come up, someone who is going to come up, you know, and will talk very hard in front of any media, in front of any discussion or in any panel discussion that, yes, we Kuki will never compromise with the Meiteis. What is this Kuki and Meitei thing? I don't understand all these things. We are citizens of India. We are Manipuri because we live in the land called Manipur, and this is the name of the state. Not necessarily Naga, Kuki's land, Naga's land. There is nothing like that. You need to be very, you don't need to be very specific while you talk of your land. Only when you want to ignite your people against other community, only that is the reason why you want to talk of your culture, you want to talk of so many things. There are other ways to preserve your culture. India government has given so many provision under so many articles to preserve your culture, so many reserve quotas to protect yourself. You do not need to necessarily use all those articles, all those IPC, all those constitutional, this thing, safeguard to, ignite your community against the other. This is what is happening. So whatever the government says, one person will come up and he will simply speak ill against another community, will talk of his land, will talk of his culture, and to the people who are living in the hills, to the villagers, it will look like that, yes, this is the leader, he is the savior. This is what actually is happening in Manipur. Now, if the government actually wants to fulfill its dream of bringing peace, giving a free passage to the people of Manipur who can, like free movement, or you want us to, settle together, then you need to, zip up the lips of these leaders. Okay, if you do not zip these lips, if you let them speak free, be it Meitei, be it Kuki, be it Naga, whosoever, then your dream of a unified Manipur or, resettlement or a collective effort where Manipur will progress will never happen. Yes, it is true that Meitei needs a safeguard. Yes, it is true the tribal lands are dear to their existence. Everything is true, but it is only true up to the point of the Indian Constitution. When you go beyond the Indian Constitution, you are just a lawbreaker. You are just a lawbreaker and nothing else. You are simply breaking the constitutional law. So people need to understand this, and it is only the administration who can make them understand. So this is what I would like to answer regarding your this thing, second round.
Yes, indeed, Oja. I think a few key issues regarding the whole crisis in Manipur have to be addressed head-on with a little heavy-handedness from the administration, be it the PR or the central administration, because as I mentioned in my earlier remarks as well, without ceasefire, without disarmament, and without, as Oja Shanta said, some of those groups of people who are influential, who will always be speaking about their homeland, their dreamland, and all of that in whatever public platform, that usually cause some unease within the valley as well, and also it also hampers the peace process. That's we don't know if this is exactly a peace process, but it does hamper whatever is going on with the Ministry of Home Affairs, with the CSOs, with the PR regime. So it looks like a big part of the issue that needs to be tackled first, it's being skipped, it's being bypassed, and now just directly jumping into IDP resettlement, because this is a very, very big issue. This has been going on since the past 2 years, and there are lives who are being lost within the relief camps. Their living conditions are deteriorating every single day, and media do highlight their plight all the time. So it looks like the government is now shifting their focus away from where the eyes need to be pinpointed and kept pinned, and is now doing this. Although, as of me, as in my own personal opinion, I think that the order of resettlement is a little skipped, a little rushed, but this is how it's taking place starting tomorrow. But we will have to wait and watch. Let's just hope that it does not get into more trouble. But for my closing remarks, as we are coming towards the end of today's program, my one big question to Oja Shantikumar is that was also one of my questions that I wanted to ask to you, that what will be the future of these IDPs? after they are resettled. Let's say in the first phase, there will be resettlement of people who just fled from the fringe areas, and there is not much destruction with respect to their houses. And in the second phase, there will be resettlement of people whose houses have been partially destroyed. And in the third phase, I think the people who belonged in Moreh, Chorchandpur and Kangpokpi, they will be relocated in prefabricated houses because their houses have been completely destroyed. That, in fact, is a contradiction in itself. But Oja Shantikumar, how should this resettlement have been handled by the PR regime if they truly believe in the rehabilitation of the people, if they truly believe in these people having a future where they can earn their income, where they can make their children go to schools, where they have access to medical and health related services. What are your thoughts on that, Oja, as a closing remark?
Amrita, for a long-term solution to the ongoing conflict in Manipur, I think Indian government must really work honestly, not just the parliament session, or not for national or international medias. They should work properly, and they should work honestly and sincerely. Then only this problem can be solved. But it seems like India, the central government, is too hasty in taking the decision to resettlement, to provide resettlement or relocation or rehabilitation to these IDPs. This is the decision is too hasty. It seems like they are doing this so that they can reply, they can respond, they can give some kind of answer during the parliament, parliament session when the opposition and other groups ask the ruling government, because otherwise they will have no answers to be given. So it seems like they did this way. But anyway, for a long-term solution to the ongoing conflict, I think certain important steps need to be taken. I think I'll just give shortly. First is, we cannot, solve any kind of problem if we don't root out the original or the real cause. And here in this case, in this conflict, the real cause, the original cause, are these two groups. So I think the first thing that I agree with BOBO when he talked about abrogation of these two groups. I think two groups need to be abrogated, and that they should be scrapped from all places of Manipur. I think this is the first step Indian government must do, because they are the real cause. And then only after scraping them and they are flushed out from the land of Manipur, I think law and order can be brought in Manipur. Of course, we also need, Indian government also needs to bring disarmament from the hills and from the valley, both sides. And then after Shu is scrapped and Shu is taken out, flushed out from the land of Manipur, I think the Kukijo communities, and especially the CAOs, even the MLS, will come out and they can talk with the valley-based CSO or indigenous people in Manipur. But right now, they cannot do that openly because guns are on their heads. They are working, they are doing things at the gun points of those Sioux narco-terrorists. So it is impossible for them to come out openly and freely, so because they are all controlled by these Sioux groups. And this is one thing. And then what I don't think these IDPs in Manipur, both sides in the hills and the Kukijo communities and Meiteis, can be sent back to their original places and to their homelands, because the time is too short. I think before that, they should try to bring law and order first, just like I mentioned. And also, I agree with Oza Shanta when he talked about those government servants, those students, and those workers. You know, they cannot come back, they cannot go back to their own places where they used to work. And they will be provided with security personnel. But when they cannot do that, how can they ask these simple, innocent IDPs to go back to their original places? There is no security because we don't believe, as just BOBO just mentioned right now, even today, there was firing.
You're right.
Farmers were fired. And what about this? So many IDPs, 57, now about some 57,000?
57,000. Yeah.
So many of them, if they return to their own places, who will protect them?
Right.
Who will provide security for them? So this is questionable question. So I think the first Indian government should work honestly and try to bring, try to flush out the, through groups. Because I also wonder why SHU groups is, there is a SHU, why they signed this group. We also don't understand about why they signed, not really necessary to sign, I mean, this is the suspension of operation with these cookies of militants, because they didn't kill, they didn't do anything against the Indian government, right? So I also wonder about that. So then I think the other one is, you see here, when this, anyway, it is good to Indian government is finally trying to let the IDPs go back to their own, places. It's very good. It's very good initiation, but still too hasty.
Okay.
But anyway, once they have started, and they should also try to finish it. But we cannot expect Indian government or central state government to finish in 6 months. That will be impossible. That is just for media and also for parliament session, I think, monsoon parliament session, I think. So my last point is, Indian government should work honestly and sincerely, and also they should take the full responsibilities to provide for the loss of life, for the loss of properties of all these IDPs. Doesn't matter they are from the hills or they are from the cookies or communities or they are from the Maite, because the conflict is very much seems like engineered, orchestrated by central government, because they never like to finish. So they should take the full responsibility to compensate all the loss of lives and the loss of properties. Amrita, I will put this way.
Yes, indeed. I think, Oja, you touched all of the points that we've been discussing as well regarding today's topic. And I would like to summarize of all the points that our speakers put forward regarding the discussion on the topic, the first phase of IDP resettlement. I think the consensus is clear that the effort, though the effort has some true meaning, some intention behind from the PR government, that there is some intention regarding rehabilitation, although the process does seem very hasty and there is not much clarity, or maybe it is not well researched, because the way that the rehabilitation is taking place, it looks like it is only to look good on paper, as our speakers have said. Because if it was really for the rehabilitation, there would be a sufficient and significant portion of their financial assistance. There will be a big portion of their future regarding their livelihood, their income generation, and also to truly build back from scratch. And also, one major factor that have been overlooked from all angles is, what about those Kuki community who fled from Imphal? What if they want to return back? Why are they not included? Because if those Kuki community families who have fled from the Imphal Valley, they want to they have to be resettled somewhere else, not back in Imphal. And also, as our speakers have highlighted, that there is also some resettlement or reorganization, let's say, going on within the administration. If all of this is complete within 6 months, let's say, would it be a step towards the formalizing of the fragmentation of Manipur? Because that needs to be checked and that needs to be addressed when it first occurs, because that is not how a state operates. And while discussing the IDP resettlement, these are the issues that have cropped up that needs truly a big lens to be looked into. So on that note, I would like to wrap up today's program, and I would like to thank our speakers, Oja Dr. NAOREM BOBO, Oja SHANTA NAHAKPAM, and also Oja Dr. NG Shantikumar for joining us and giving us your thoughts. Thank you all very much once again. And I would like to thank our viewers for tuning in tonight. We will be back again next Monday with many more exciting topics. Keep watching ELITETV, and this is your host Amrita signing off for tonight. Have a good night.